husband, Buck, was born and raised in Virginia. And he went into the Air Force in 1952. He did pull 2 tours in Vietnam. He was what you call a flight crew chief. So he flew most all of his 20 years in the service.
Another of TAC's many roles is airlift. The bulk of this task is performed by the A and B models of the Lockheed C-130 Hercules.
It's a very warm, heartfelt short, centering on the career of Buck, who was in the U.S. Air Force. While he passed away in 2004, this film introduces us to his widow, Priscilla. I love seeing the photos of them early on in their relationship and more recently before he passed away. She obviously really misses him and is very proud of him for his service. It is interesting that he was the first person in the state of Florida to receive 100% disability coverage from the VA. Lots of interesting archive footage of the planes he worked on, in addition to the military cemetery where he lies now. Emotionally stirring music. Well done,
extremely
film.
Beautiful story and an important story told from the point of view of Buck's wife. I thought it was extremely well edited. I thought, the inclusion of the archival footage and photographs were really important and also beautiful. They, gave a lot of visual aid to what his wife was talking about. And I think it, was important in highlighting a lot of the ways the Vietnam War affected people who participated in it. So overall, great job.
I thought this was such a wonderful tribute to Buck's life. We got to hear about him, about his life, his career, his interests, and most importantly, his life with his wonderful, sweet wife, who we get to hear from directly. He seemed like a wonderful guy. I think this was just a wonderful tribute to his life. I also learned something new, which was that veterans are always buried or laid to rest with their spouses, which I thought was really special and interesting. So it's nice to know that they'll be together again. And yeah, I thought he had a really interesting life, and she just did a great job. I also thought that the documentary as a whole was put together really well. I loved the in-action shots of, the Air Force planes. I thought having the names being spoken out at the beginning and at the end was a really beautiful way to bring it full circle and tie it all together. So this was really lovely.
Just the wonderful impact he had on those around him, and hearing about it from his wife, who, they obviously loved each other very much. So it was very moving to see that. It was it's wonderful to hear that somebody like Buck was able to have a good life, flying in the sky. She said how he loved his time in the Air Force and flying, and how he was the chief of a flight crew, and how wonderful that is. So yeah, it was wonderful to learn about that and to hear his story. I'm from Central Florida, and I'm not far from the Space Coast, and I've been over there quite a bit. So I recognize the environment. But this is a wonderful piece, and she told her story so well. And it was so nice of her to be brave and to come out and to tell us this story like this. Things like this need to be remembered by us all. So this is a wonderful film. It was beautifully made. It was wonderfully shot, wonderfully edited. A lot of care went into it. I want to thank everybody that was involved, because he did a great job. I hope this gets out there and gets seen, because it was very meaningful to me, and it'll be very meaningful to a lot of people.
Hard watch for sure, but it's an important one. It's always tough getting through these stories about fallen war heroes, especially when they're told from the perspective of the widow. And the Vietnam War especially was an extremely tough period for everyone involved. Even the ones that came back alive suffered a tremendous amount of psychological damage, and this film does well to show us how the scars from that war are still being felt today. It's hard to hear the pain in her voice when she speaks, even though most of the memories she has of Buck are positive. The line that stood out to me, though, is when she says he would have stayed longer if he could have. And that surely would have been the case when he first went out to Vietnam, but a line like that really demonstrates how war can fundamentally change a person forever.
It's a very thoughtful way to honor a veteran of this country, and also for Priscilla to honor the memory of her husband. It felt personal to me because my grandfather is a veteran and my grandmother's ashes are currently located in a veteran burial site as well, where my grandfather plans to join her. I think that listening to Priscilla, I was reflecting upon the different forms that our grief takes and how it feels different on different days. And also the particular grief and reflection that I think comes from having lost someone too soon and knowing that that may have been prevented.
Gives us a brief glimpse into the life of an American hero, all that he endured and went through, the family that he made, the life that he built for himself, and the country that he fought for and protected, and really gave up his life for. Not maybe in the immediate sense that we often think of it, but in the long term, given that his heart condition was a result of Agent Orange, in the long term, he did very much give up his life for his country. So it's a moving piece, very patriotic, and makes us definitely want to go out and thank a veteran.